Suella Braverman is back in the news today, talking about migration and saying that the Conservative woes are entirely a result of migration. She's wrong, of course. The problem with migration is that the people who are coming to the UK, for example, coming, quote, now, according to Suella Braverman's legislation, illegally, are likely to have been sponsored or encouraged by people who have already got them jobs. They're going to be paying taxes. They're going to be part of the system contributing to the raising of money and raising of standards in our country. They're not likely to be battening on the health service or social care. The indeed, some surveys have come to the conclusion that migrants have yielded a £5 billion bonus for the government. The idea that migration comes with a curse of too much expense is nonsense. It also is the source of people doing work that we aren't doing. And of course, it's not in Suella Braverman's interest to mention Brexit, but Brexit and COVID are the two causes for a growth in migration to fill the jobs, to fill the problems, and the COVID vaccine, the COVID crisis, for example, which closed so many of the universities in effect, has meant there's been a rise in migration simply from those people who are already accepted into those universities and colleges and schools to continue with their education. So the numbers have been artificially risen, and when those are adjusted, whoever is in power will suddenly see a sharp drop in migration. Suella Braverman has done an interview with the Daily Telegraph to reflect her perspective on the Conservative Party's electoral studies, which she attributes to the party's perceived failure to address migration effectively. So I think she makes four major points. First, she blames migration policy. Then she calls for unity. Then she talks about reform and Sunak's policies. So the migration policy, she says, the Conservative Party's depressing electoral position is due to its inability to effectively tackle migration. Having signalled up small boats as a problem, the Conservative Party can now be judged on its failure to have addressed that. She says that the government acted too slowly. If it had acted sooner and more decisively, the right-wing vote would not have fragmented, and the Conservatives could have relied on what is now the reform vote. I don't think anything could have been done to salvage that, and I think she's absolutely wrong, because the medicine that she was offering was fundamentally flawed, was fundamentally skewed. Simply because medicine tastes horrible doesn't mean it's good. The second point, the call for Conservative unity, a united party is likely to be stronger than a disunited party, and she has done a great deal to encourage that fragmentation and disunity. She talks about it sticking to its core principles, such as reducing migration and cutting taxes, and that would prevent division and improve polling results. She's wrong, because while cutting taxes may well be a Conservative principle, reducing migration is not. Integrating people who are coming into our country, that's another matter, and that's much closer to the Conservative core value. And Braverman implies that internal division is a significant factor undermining the party's electoral prospects. She's absolutely right there. She's absolutely right there, but that's not the main focus of her argument. The main focus of her argument is about reducing migration, and this is something she's wrong on. Really, we shouldn't be talking about reducing migration. The Labour Party and the Conservative Party have both embraced this mantra. We should be looking to the SNP, who know a thing or two about migration. They should, and they're practically waving the flag, saying, "Migration, yes, please," and they are right. Despite her criticism of the problems in the Conservative Party, she says that she's not supporting Reform UK. Well, she's one of the few. And Reform UK, known for its division, its exploitation of division, its focus on immigration, Euroscepticism, positioning itself as as a negative influence. She says that she is positioning herself within the Conservative Party. Of course she is. She wants to be the leader of the Conservative Party when it has emerged from the elections, savaged, brutalized, and reduced. She can then invade it. Invader! And then she also praises Rishi Sunak's economic policies, particularly in terms of tackling inflation. And her criticism, she says, and the criticism that should be levelled at the Conservative Party, is only about migration, not a wholesale attack on his leadership. So she's trying to now belatedly press the loyalty button. Well, I mean, she's late on that one. The Conservative Party faces serious electoral challenges, and the string of by-election disasters suggests the general election is going to be appalling, and polls don't help. Polls are not only now commenting on commenting and analysing the future, they're also influencing that future. For Suella Braverman to indicate migration as a hot button issue is for her to make it a hot button issue as well. She's not just observing. She is driving up that debate. She is whipping up that debate. And it's a complex debate, and she's only showing one side of it. She's also exploiting party divisions and ongoing tensions within the Conservative Party, where there has been a spectrum of opinion, and under her guidance, I'm sure that spectrum of opinion will be reduced to a few slogans, which she will duly learn and scream. And this is from a person who was abusive about Albania and abusive about Pakistan, and has never apologized for the damage that she did diplomatically. The greatest criticism, I think, of the Conservatives is coming from within the Conservative Party, from within Reform, rather than from the left. It's as if it's as if Keir Starmer can leave the Conservative Party to destroy itself. I think I think the result is already established. The Conservative Party will lose. It's simply a question of by how much, and whether it can ever recover, and whether that means there is a party of effective opposition. And And I think anyone who is interested in politics in Britain must be concerned about the destruction of the parliamentary system in this election. This election could well see the creation of a very strong Labour Party and an opposition which is so weak it cannot do its job. And we've seen situations where an opposition recently has been distracted to the point where it can't do its job. But to be elected as incompetent, as incapable, that is something we have not seen. And that is something that I think is very, very worrying. To have a rump of the Conservative Party, the wrong rump of the Conservative Party, it's like it's like a like the wrong trousers, isn't it? The wrong rump. Wallace and Gromit, the wrong rump of the Conservative Party elected to power. I think it's partly a result of Boris Johnson getting rid of those people who didn't support Brexit or his view of Brexit, and partly a result of the electoral changes and the electorate in general being so disappointed with the way the Conservative Party has lurched, or the backbenchers have allowed it to lurch so dynamically to Tufton Street. That's not where it belongs. And I don't think it's about party team being team Conservative, rah rah rah, or team Labour, rah rah rah. It's about considering the effectiveness of Parliament. Parliament is as dependent on its opposition as it is on its government, and we've already seen a disintegration of debate in Parliament, people in the House of Commons should look over at the House of Lords at the quality of debate there, which is just about as it used to be in the House of Commons 30 years ago. But the House of Commons today is a parody of real discussion, real debate, and real change. An absolute parody. And Suella Braverman leads that parody.